What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and today I wanted to take you through the journey of a couple of Atlantean games that I played yesterday, and basically trying to work out how to get to what I think is the Atlantean game plan. Like I was trying to think about it for a little bit from like the start through to the end. And I think that was kind of the wrong way to think about it. Instead, going from the end to the start, how do I get a position in the game where I can actually, well, what am I looking for? What's the position that I want to get to? And that position is some sort of mass palace shenanigans, because I need a huge amount of palace to actually get out my destroyers, right? To get out my control of the map. And so my thought is here, okay, so if I can just rush it out, what happens? Can I just rush it out? So I'm going to speed through this game and show you, I will speed through a whole bunch of different games I played and show you like the results of what happens when I get to this point, and why maybe like certain things need to be like checked and gotten through first and foremost. So I do roll with random Atlantean here. I am going to go pretty quick through these because I want to get to the star of the show, where I actually feel like I worked a whole bunch of stuff out. But anyways, I've gone Gaia, and I did see Chemo do this build, so I thought, you know what, why not? It's effectively, you go for an extra 2 hero citizens and you put your town center up, and it effectively can't get stopped. This town center is absolute hot garbage though. Would not recommend grabbing this town center normally, but the whole point here was I'm looking for some economy, and I don't feel like I can do a whole lot with my army. And what you'll notice here is my opponent. I was kind of like not 100% with it here in this game. I didn't check his town center. My opponent goes for a Fort Migdol. So while maybe, just maybe, if I had better macro or whatever, I would be able to heroize all these citizens, walk forward, and just shank this down. I do have all these 4 citizens here. This probably would be the right reaction. I probably can defend this, but when the Migdol comes up, I just basically go, okay, well, my gold mine is ungatherable from. I can't really come over here at this state of the game and grab this. Maybe I could come over and drop a tower or something, but it's going to be tough, and I don't really have food income. It's just kind of rubbish. So I'm going to just tap out here, and we're going to go into the next one. So basically, what I learned from this game is probably a fast naked second town center here against Egyptian is probably not something you want to try. You want to play, we'll try something different in the next game, and next time we play Egyptian. But I've got that in my bank now. I'm not going to go for that. So next game here was, where are we? This one, Oranos versus Noir. So I got this idea in the back of my head. Okay, so we're not going to go for a naked town center. Let's try something else. Now, my thought here was, now this player is a lot lower level than Soup, mind you, but there's still, the whole idea is still kind of apply, because you can learn a lot from just what's possible, what's not possible in these situations anyways. But like whether or not it works like to the same degree at a higher level is irrelevant. It's still an idea, right? So my thought process here was, okay, if I can't go for a naked town center because I'm going to subject myself to a whole bunch of cheese, maybe I just go for some units and I try and deny my opponent's second town center, right? So I play here and I go, okay, let's see if we can deny the Noir town center. I don't think it's possible to deny the Noir town center, but I need to make sure that I can't, so I'm going to confirm it here. He goes for the town center on the back. I drop the Carnivora down and deny the town center for a little bit here. You can see how many resources he has in the bank, so it's not like I've actually denied it. He's going to be able to start it again. And I try to run over here. I shockwave to delay the town center as much as possible. Can't get in, so town center is up. I'm sad. That's not possible. And now I'm looking to put pressure on with my units. And we go, okay, I can't do much in his main base. He's got an insanely good main base. He does have this position here I can attack. But basically at this point... once the watchtowers are up, I kind of have to resign myself to saying, all right, these units aren't for like attacking him. Okay, so what can I do with them? Well, there's this, there's this, there's this, and there's this, right? So that's what these units are primarily for. And I drop a town center. So I need to get my oracles into good positions here. I get a couple of Terma out just to make sure that I have an answer for the fire archers, because I need to make sure that I'm actually getting some use. And I do actually manage to catch my opponent out on this hunt. So after all is said and done, my units did pay for themselves, luckily. If we take a quick look at what's actually going on here, he didn't need to be there. So, yeah. He should have been on the goats. He should have been on the berries. But I shouldn't have been able to get this raid. So we should be considering ourselves. This is not going to happen in a high level game. These guys aren't going to go out there. If you're going to have units and things like that, they're going to sit in their main base and just eat the goats and come out there a lot later once they have the units out. He does get a nice raid on me here, though. Even though we do manage to get a snipe onto this guy, as he's, again, out of position with his units. Probably should be over here or over here. But anyways, that's fine. Let's go back into this perspective. So my next plan here is, this is where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going for. This is the whole sort of, how do I put it? This is the whole game plan that I'm going for. Is I need to get heroic age here, and I need to start getting my palaces going. That's something that's really important. If I get a little bit of damage done here and there, fantastic with these units. But realistically, if I got lucky here, he drops the earth wall and I kill it instantly. So I mean, it wouldn't have done much. I'm not planning to go into that main base anytime soon. But we're going to go up through Hyperion. He's gone through Gong Gong. He's got his ballet over there. I missed it. So this was a mistake. I should have had the Oracle on this. I should have had my units ready to get over there and do some things and prevent this from coming up. But realistically, at this point, he does have more units than I do, or at least similar. He's got counter units with the Pioneers, so I probably wouldn't have been able to win this fight anyways, unless I get full heavy onto units and try and contain. But anyways, the point isn't even about that. If it is possible for me to go full classical age and contain here and get a win against a player at a lower level than me, that's not really going to get me much. I'm more thinking about, what happens if I can't contain? What happens if I get into this situation, right? This is what I want. I want to find a situation where my opponent has a stronger late game god than me, has got the defenses set up that I can't just beat my head through with like sort of blind classical aggression. So I'm going to go double palace on this position, and we're going to start spamming out destroyers. Now, I also grab this tech here, which is Levy Palace Soldiers, makes these destroyers build faster. And now we're going to go into a huge amount of destroyers. Now, against... well, maybe we'll get into why this works here against China a little bit later. Or why this makes sense here, and maybe it doesn't make sense in other matchups. But now we got some units, and we can start pushing forward. This is enough to scare him to drop the forest protection, and I have to say, okay, I got a bail on this. Let's run away, no problems. And now, outside of the forest protection, we're looking to hit this. Now, one thing that he should 100% have out already, and he is building them now, is siege crossbows. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. Just, it is what it is. I've also got some resources in the bank, but he should have these out, and he should be able to start pressuring this. And maybe this doesn't necessarily work all the time, but when we've got, but the idea here is that we're trying to push in onto this gold mine, and take this ballet out if we can. Other positions that we should have had an eye on is obviously over here. I do come here, but a little bit late. So I could have possibly gone, instead of this ballet here, I could have sent and had a ballet over here. Anyways, he's trying to siege me. His units are obviously scared about this position. So he comes over. And now this is the interesting fight. This is where the destroyer does shine. I've got 10 destroyers and I've got 13 Mermillo. These Mermillo would normally get absolutely erased by the medium fire archers. But as the fight goes on, we also click chaos. As the fight goes on, the destroyers, they get to tank. They tank a huge amount. I clicked shockwave onto those guys. I probably shouldn't have, but not the best of uses. But I can't actually win this fight outright. Not a great trade for me, not a terrible trade for me, but you can see what the effectiveness of these destroyers. And now that the palace is up over here as well, we can start harassing this, and we can like start using the destroyers. So you can actually see that, all right, I have a lot of destroyers here, mind you, but we do have an angle here to break through our opponent here because he doesn't have a great counter to these destroyers. So, I mean, whether or not this works consistently against like a really, really strong player is irrelevant. This is something that you guys can kind of try for the Atlantean players out there with the destroyer idea. And let's go into a game now where I try this again against a stronger player, and I find myself having a lot of issues. Now, again, this is a problem that I get into where I say I'm playing against Hades. There's not really anything I can do with early units because he's got a town center, he's got sentinels, he's got watchtowers. I genuinely believe that if my opponent plays a defensive Hades, like the AFK Hades that I show, that will beat early units. However, the problem here isn't actually about early units or getting damage done. It's actually about preventing certain things from happening in a game. So I run over here. I'm trying to build the town center sort of as far away from him as possible. And then he goes for this town center, which is really bad for me. So right now what I'm thinking already is I screwed up. Okay, so this is me screwing up. I can't be fighting against Hades like this. This isn't good. So the thing that goes into my head now is, all right, we're always going to be opening with some units here to ensure that this town center can't get grabbed. That's the general bit. I click the carnivore to try and deny him a little bit, but it goes down pretty quickly, obviously, and we are now in this next spot. So the next thing here is, okay, I still can't really build units. There's not really much point. Apart from these zebra, which, I mean, realistically, if he goes for these and I have units there, then maybe that's good for us. But if he sees the units, he's never going to come for this. He's also got like all of the hunt on his side of the map here, which is super far away from everything that I don't think I'm going to be able to put pressure onto. So it's like I don't feel like I can go for units. But I would have really loved to have, say, five Murmillo out and a couple of Terma out at this point. Like, I really would have loved to have those. But if I did that, then I would be really late to the heroic age. So, little bit of column A, little bit of column B. So, we go in, Palace to come up. I'm scared because I don't know if he's got any units out at the moment. Got to be a little bit careful. Probably should have scouted. Would have been nice to put a Palace up a little bit closer, but we're also going to be able to start Palace creeping, right? So, we creep from here. He's gone close to our base, so we're going to go for a Palace creep and start building ourselves destroyers. Now, here's my next idea with what I want to try and do here with Atlantean. The next idea is the Palace are so obnoxiously strong right now that maybe, just maybe, I don't need to build archers. So what you can see here is he can't get close to us. He gets his fortress up, and I realistically now need to kill this fortress. I think, hang on, let me actually see. Pause. Yeah. Right now, I have a timing. I believe, hold on. Yeah, kind of. Right now, I kind of have a timing. He's got six Apaspis out. I got my Palace in range of his fortress. So these are shooting each other down. So if I just right click on this fortress and his Apaspis pop out, all of a sudden my Palace kills off his Apaspis and my destroyer kill off his fortress, and then I kill off his Petropolis, and then I can continue to push forward. So there absolutely was here a timing, but I'm trying to be a little bit cute with it and trying to move him around to get value where his units aren't, trying to get him out of position. Now I get my medium upgrades, and we are just trying to jockey, but as the Palace goes down, this takes away any sort of position. And you can actually see that the units don't really take as much damage as I was kind of hoping. Do I have Chronolations yet? I think that's probably why. Yeah, no Chronolations yet. So they're like moving around. So it's a little bit tricky to get the full amount of damage in before you get Cren. But anyways, I did have an opportunity to take the fortress down. The timing was there. And if I just committed to it, the fortress probably goes down. I probably keep this Palace alive. However, I mean, the other thing that I probably should do here, and I know it now, is I should just get, after I get the first two Palace down, or maybe after I get the first palace down, I actually put a barracks down. Just one. I don't need more than one because the palace plus a couple of archers now means I can push in and out underneath the fortress and I can start like threatening even earlier. So if I can get just a handful of archers here, then we're in a really good spot. I got a huge amount of destroyers, and now I go, all right, I can't actually fight here against all these Hypaspis with what I got. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go for his main base, kind of forgetting that he went through Apollo, and we charge in, and he just underworlds, and I just go, okay, I can't be bothered anymore. So, yeah. We're not lost here, but this is just like the ultimate in frustration. to say the least. Like, I'm like, okay, where can I actually attack him? I can't actually attack him anywhere because my destroyers get hard countered by Hypaspis. But I watching the game back now, I go, okay, I could have attacked the fortress early. So I did have a timing. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind, is there is like this slight timing here, but even more so, the takeaway that I come from this game is, all right, I do need to build some units. I need to deny this town center, the forward town center. I should be okay if he wants to go for a back town center, because then we'll just grab a town center and chase him. Maybe not be as, like, we probably won't be like able to hit any crazy timings, but at the very least, we don't have to worry about this thing, which maybe works, maybe doesn't work, depends on what sort of level of player opponent you're playing against. So, yeah. That's this. So let's get into the next one, which is where all my ideas come to fruition and we actually come up with a very, very good plan. Now, we are playing against Poseidon here, so things are a little bit different. I'm going to speed through just a little bit. It is a long game, but I'm going to talk you through the thought process, and we will slow down after a little bit, because it was a very entertaining game, I think, or at least to play. So, first and foremost, I am slightly worried about early Poseidon aggression. You get an Atlantean into your main base, you get Hippias and all that other stuff. So I do have to be somewhat careful here. Can't go for that fast second town center, but don't want to go for that fast second town center. Sort of learned from the Hades here that it's kind of a bad idea. But anyways, a couple of counter barracks, military barracks up. He's putting pressure. Doesn't really do much. Just sort of have to defend, get our units out, and now we're good to go. Heal everything up. And I did manage to force ceasefire here, which is big, with the Carnivora. And then after this town center is up, you can't deny it. I kill a villager, luckily, but you can't deny the town center. And at this point now, it's okay. It's time to go for our own second town center, because there's not really any way for us to deny 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different positions where a fortress could potentially come up. With Oranos, I mean, there technically is an opportunity if there's 3 different positions for the fortress to go up. If say this was just gold mine here, and gold mine here, right? Or let's go here. So 3 gold mines, 1, 2, 3. Then what I would do is I would go, okay, sky passage, and sky passage. I would put an oracle in all 3 of those, right? And then I would just spam units into the sky passage in the center, and I just sit there and sort of wait while trying to run around. He gets watchtowers. Luckily here for Oranos, this isn't the same for every civ, but for Oranos, you do have a little bit of agency against the towers in the base, which is you've got the Caladria, so you can heal these guys up. You're more than happily able to sort of poke just a little bit against this because you can heal them up. So this is nice for Oranos and anyone else who's got that sort of benefit. Okay. So the Hippias to come through. These guys, I don't know what, he's probably just trying to kill off my oracle, but that's fine. At this point, we're getting our town center up. We get our sky passage up. He does spot it, but we are good to finish that one up and can just garrison, and we're all good. Send some units over. I do want to run over here. I do scout that he's got villagers on this, which he has a right to. He's building some units, but he's not building many. He also did spend a lot of resources on other stuff. So at this point, I've got units out that I just want to contain him with. So pushing him back here, maybe getting a villager kill, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe sniping the Theseus. Did I get him? Smack. Nope. Anyways, for some reason I decided to let the Theseus live there, but whatever. Don't ask questions. So at this point now, the only real option that I have is to either say we have to go all in the classical age and try and deny a fortress from coming up all across the map, which again, very, very difficult on this specific map, or we have to get to the heroic age. And this is where obviously plan is going to start coming in. So if we charge in a little bit faster, as there's nothing really going to be happening here for quite some time, we do get a shockwave, so we do get a little bit more value with our units. If you ever see your opponent having like this shockwave on this is going to be just a little bit of an advantage. So that does allow you to catch up. So this is pretty much unique to Oranos. You're not going to be able to do this with Gaia or with Kronos, but with Oranos, if your opponent has this, and you have these units out, it is worthwhile to get a nice shockwave and kill off some villages in this sort of a waiting thing. All right, so now the next plan here is, okay, I know he hasn't really produced any units. So if he's going to go for a naked fortress, I just need to be scouting and seeing where everything is. I see his army over here. I go, okay, so if he puts it up here, I don't really think I can stop it. I see the Hydra. I see the fortress as well, mind you. I see the units and I go, okay, well, what if we drop a Carnivora down and try and kill off this thing? And unfortunately, the Carnivora is definitely not the answer. So I will not ever do that ever again. But good to know that this doesn't actually do anything. Anyways, from here, the next aim is to simply put, deny this town center as long as we can. I'm grabbing this. He sees it. I don't care. If we can deny this town center as long as we can, get ourselves out some Arcus to deal with his, whatchamajigits, his Hypaspis, and go into destroyers, then all of a sudden we get pushing power. And we get to threaten different positions, right? Because we can't really do much before this. So I know he's over here. And this gives me the opportunity here to attack him in the main base. So he's obviously like wanting to get his talent center up. Does he get it up? I don't know. Yes, he does. But I need to put pressure on because otherwise he can just rush to the next age. And if he does that for free, then we're in a lot of trouble. So it's time for pressure where he's not. Now he's playing a great game of I've got map hacks. He's got Pegasus. So it's very, very tough for me to actually move around the map and get any value here. So credit where credit's due. This guy is Jack. He was in the Mythic Wars Championship in the group stage. So he's a very, very strong player. Nonetheless, I do manage to come through here, and now we can put some pressure onto this. And we click Chaos, almost kill the town center. I'm just trying to delay with that Chaos so that I can kill off the town center. I'm not thinking that I can kill the army. But yeah, ceasefire comes down, and now we go, well, we can't really do much anymore. Do have a lot of destroyers now, though. So now my goal here is I want to kill this town center. I want to kill this town center, but I can't do both at the same time. I can't do one because otherwise I'm fighting my entire army against his army. So I split up. We go and send destroyers into his main base, destroyers over to here. And the goal here is, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can deny a Mythic Age. I'm pretty sure he's going Mythic Age here, considering his upgrades and the lack of units that he's got. So we kill the town center here. And the town center in the main base. For whatever reason, my destroyers decide to be a bit silly. And unbeknownst to me, I do manage to deny the Mythic Age. So if he goes for the Mythic Age and the really safe town center over here, I wouldn't have denied that. And this would have been a little bit of a much more difficult game. But anyways, behind that, we also managed to get our own Mythic Age in. And now we have to retreat back and start thinking about the next thing. So what I see on the map now as... Wait, yeah. I do have the entirety of the map scouted, right? Basically, what I see on the map now is I see this gold mine, this gold mine, and this gold mine. These are the most important parts of the map now. So if I can get in and I can get palace, then all of a sudden, once this gold mine is expired, I am basically winning this game. So this is the this is the general premise here of how to play Atlantean, I think, is if we can get in and do this, then this is how we find wins. So we're taking this fight here. I don't know why I'm taking this fight. I don't think this is a good fight. I should have run my destroyers. The micro when you're playing against, when you're playing Destroyer Arcus, is your opponent's going to make counter infantry, counter archers most of the time. So if you're playing against Egyptian, it's probably going to be mostly like Axeman, Chariot Archer, or Axeman Slinger. Maybe not Chariot Archer, but anyways, if you're playing against China, probably Fire Archer and Dao Sword. No, not maybe Dao Swordsman and Javelineer or something. But the point is that you want to basically use your destroyers to run away from your opponent. As I try and come in here and get some damage onto the town center and have my Tartarian Gate get some significant damage done inside of his main base. A little bit of the double attacks to give the Tartarian Gate a little bit of time to spawn those Tartarian spawns. But anyways, he does have his walls up over here, but this isn't enough palace to come through. We can secure this gold mine. And now we do have the distraction here with a whole bunch of units trying to kill off the Tartarian Gate, which does allow us now to sort of charge in here and try and get onto this spot again. So we're still trying to get onto this gold mine. We're still trying to push here and secure this position. Okay, let's speed up a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm missing a huge amount of destroyers here. I do have them queued up, but I don't have the population for them because I overbuilt Mermillo. But anyways, we can come through here. We can start harassing the gold. And a sky passage here is a evacuation sky passage because I still know that he's got bronze. He did just hit the mythic age, so chances are if he wants to push through here, I don't think I can defend. Maybe underneath the palace, maybe I can defend. I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to save up for chaos. I'm trying to force a bronze on this spot anyways. I know that he needs this spot. I just don't feel like I can defend. And I mean, look at the army difference here. It's basically I'm pretty much in front of military value, but he's gonna have full iron, right? So that makes life hard. But if I can just snipe off a couple of units here and then bail, that's okay. Well, we have to bail on this. I don't see me winning this fight. I just don't. I maybe I can, but I don't think so. So we got to move to a different spot. So where do we go? Well, unlike Gaia and Kronos, running like this is not going to be as possible. But basically, our goal here is, well, you're going to kill this off. Let's come back into your main base and kill this off. We do have ourselves 2 destroyers, or a couple of destroyers. It's not really enough, which is what I was sort of saying before. I was sort of disappointed I didn't have more destroyers out to make this sort of a move happen, because he needs to come back up here and grab the town center anyways. So we're going to consistently just keep on killing him left, right, and center. And the town center was already half dead. Fire Siphon to come in. Now, unfortunately, this is like a consolation prize, right? What I want is I want this position. But he also says, hey, if you're going to attack me, what if I attack you? So my consolation prize is also like, well, I don't have that much pushing power. I do have a sky passage in my main base. I don't have any citizens. I do have a couple of citizens here, so I could have dropped it over here. But we're going to get through the sky passage over here, evacuate out, come over and try and deny this here as well. But I'm going to lose the town center, and we have to start playing a little bit of catch up. I do still have this position under control though for a little bit longer. I still got the palace. I still got this. So he does have some gold problems. So if we win this fight, we're still okay. And then I guess following this up, obviously we have to get our town center back, but we still have this position, right, under lock. He can't grab that town center back without getting the gold mine. So we have managed to sort of trade pretty well, even though we lost our town center. And from here, my goal is, let me just get units in. I've actually got barracks queued up into this position. whether it be Mermillo, Arcus, or whatever. So I don't even have to worry about it. He has to react, and then I'm going to send the rest of my units up here to continue to pressure this. I do want to get in onto this spot and put more palace down onto these gold mines, but realistically, the Petropolis is already here. The town center is here. And if I put too much effort into trying to hold this spot, then, like, he can just mass an army up there and stop me. So it's not super ideal. Anyways, we have to pull out of here. And I think I still have units queued up over here, right? Wait, do I? No. Maybe? No. Anyways, at this point, we have kept the town center down. Still putting pressure on. Like, he does have the stronger army than me, right? Like, I can't actually beat this army. So, what do you do? Well, we have to just keep building buildings. This is the only real option, right? Again, micro against this army is really, really important. You actually have to grab Arcus and infantry in 2 different control groups, or use the select all Arcus hotkey with and the select all infantry hotkey basically. I don't actually have that one set up. I should set that one up. And pull the infantry all back to make sure that they're not sitting on top of the pacifist. Now you might ask me, why aren't you building Contarius here? Well, the reason why I'm not building Contarius is primarily because fortresses, towers, and town centers with crenellations just simply shred through everything. At this point, though, this is the position that matters. So Contarius do make some sense, and I do recognize that I probably should have built them a little bit later. But that was the thought process, and I'm playing into this sort of idea of I want to go for basically Destroyer, Arcus, a Palace with maybe a handful of Mermillo. And Destroyers do counter the Peltast as well, mind you, like by a lot. So long as you control this well, and maybe we'll see if I do it. There we go. So you just pull the infantry back, and then the Arcus are able to take everything else out. Now, unfortunately for me, fortunately for Jack here, he's got this big fat Polyphemus that takes 7 business days to actually kill. But nonetheless, he is still fighting underneath my palace, so we are actually able to trade here nicely. And I guess following on from this, he's got himself the stone walls. Just in case anyone doesn't understand what the stone walls do, this is a really, really good tech. Anyone who's struggling with keeping people out of your base or whatever, this tech only costs 400 resources, and it gives 100% extra hit points as well as 10% hack armor vulnerability, which basically means that if you're a cavalry unit or something, you can't really break through this very quickly. Like, I'll give you, when I build the cavalry, I'll compare the cavalry damage onto this wall and sort of show you why you basically can't break through this without siege. Anyways, we're still pushing him back, but he is getting close to stabilizing, which, I mean, he's still fighting. Probably shouldn't be fighting, but I mean, if he doesn't push in, then I'm just going to put more palaces up, right? All right, let's speed through a little bit longer. I make a whole bunch of Mermillo here. I think they should have been all destroyers. Anyways, less Mermillo, more destroyers. Just he's managing to break through me because of the Petropolis. I mean, they should kill my buildings, but I can't kill the Petropolis because I can't break through his army. Anyways. We try and break through. We've got full population yet again. Still trying to... we're close on this because he's lost a whole bunch of villages through this game. His military is still strong, but these trades should be good for me, right? Because I've got more income than he does. I've also got a trade route going, mind you, and he doesn't. For whatever reason, this is not a good trade route, but whatever's happening there. I guess that's the other thing that I didn't touch on is this is also part of the game plan. So one of the weaknesses of Atlantean is their economy falls off a cliff. But if you start the trade route nice and early, just from 1, you don't, not 4 markets, not 5 markets because your gold mine's all gone, but just 1 nice and early on, that's going to be enough for you to actually keep that economy feeling nice and strong. I'll go into the post game and show you what the economy looks like after this. So, oh, I was going to show the Contaris. Okay. So we got the win. He does tap out here because he's not out of gold, but he's sort of, I don't know if he's just exhausted from the whole thing. I know I was pretty exhausted after this game. But anyways, what's the point here? Okay, so these Contarias here are doing 14 hack damage per second, which basically means against the wall, if we take a look at this wall here, it's doing, let's just call this 50% hack armor. It's going to be doing 7 damage per second onto the wall. So this thing has, well, actually we can just work it out. It's got 1200 HP. So it's going to take a Contarius 171 seconds to break through this wall. Right? Or 170 or 172 shots to actually break through this wall. So it's a long grind. And then they also get buffed by masons and by architects and by fortified walls. So yeah, no. I've heard this thing quite a bit, that walls feel really weak in Age mythology. The wooden walls, sure, yeah, they can get broken down pretty quickly, but stone walls, no. Fortified walls, no. Masons, architect walls, no. A siege kills them off quickly, but I think that siege should kill them off quickly, right? So make sure you upgrade your walls. Anyways, we've got an interesting idea here for Oranos. I don't think this makes Oranos like a top tier god, but I do think I was maybe a little bit wrong with my triple F tier Oranos in the tier list. He's definitely got some angles here to play for against some of the other lower tier gods, in my opinion. But the idea of, you know, making some units, making sure you're preventing your opponent from grabbing any of the food out on the map, and then playing for gold mines as hard as you possibly can with palaces while also shifting the battle around. It's a lot to do. I think that, you know, you're going to have to really be thinking and being quick with your army movements. But here's the thing. I'm playing against one of the best players here in the world, right? This is a top 20, top 30 player, right? So if I can move his army around like this, imagine if you're trying to do this against, say, top 1000 player or you know, your 1000 rated player. Like, they're not going to be able to follow your army like this guy can. So you've got a lot of opportunity to get in and get that damage done by going for this strat. So give it a go. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a different one from normal, just trying to like unpack some thought process and how we're trying to get to a higher level. I did start my market again. The best trade route was over to here, but it's better to have a really good trade route. I want to do a little bit of a comparison here on the trade route from this patch and the last patch, but this is actually so insane. 71 gold from this market to this town center is a lot of gold. And just to show you all the economic difference, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, no, if you play this correctly, I think with Oranos, your economy will be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine against a Greek player who's going for that plenty vault and that turtle strategy. So give it a go. Good luck. Hope this helps the Atlantean players. I know that they're struggling at the moment. So a little bit of a strategic overview of things that sort of work, things that don't work, and why we do certain things. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, like deep dives, let me know which god you want to see, and we can try and show you a whole bunch of things that work and don't work, and see what happens. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.